Hey everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday. And hi, if you're new here, welcome in. And what we do here is we talk about some of the new releases and reissues and represses that came out on vinyl either today, Friday, or a little within the last couple of weeks. Sometimes they trickle in slow. But anyway, so that's what we do here every Friday. And let's get started with picks of the week. If we, and also we do post the price list down below. And we kind of go in alphabetical order apart from the picks of the week. And that way, if you want to skip ahead and just hear what you want to hear about, you can always use that list to find out where we are in the order. Okay? So, picks of the week. My pick for you is Eve Jarvis, and this is on the Zug, and this is on the Anti-Records label. He is back with his third solo record that's entitled The Zug, and Montreal, Canada is where he's based. He's got this very unique vision for psychedelic jazz folk, and it kind of comes into a little more focus on this third offering of his with real elevated production this time around. He's got this real a plethora of real creative ideas that he's presenting, and his confidence is growing with each new release. He kind of refines his creative approach, where his music and his life kind of intertwine in this very harmonious fashion. He kind of fuses genre elements into like a relationship where there's like wistful folk, tender R&B, and jazz experiments. They all feed into one another and grow these like lush compositions that he comes up with. So he maintains kind of an air of mystery with his lyrics. He's got this kind of whisper soft words. They can be interpreted as deeply personal or politically motivated. But anyway, if you want to try something different, you might dig that too. I just thought that was really, really good. And normally I don't usually pick reissues or represses for my picks of the week, but sometimes there's just something that's so good that I really kind of want to bring your attention to it. This is Health Disco 4 Part 1. This is on the Loma Vista label. Now, it's the fifth studio album by American noise rock band Health, and it was originally released in 2020, so this is, I guess, what we're calling more of a repress on this one. Probably hasn't been around due to supply chain issues, and it just keeps getting shoved to the back of the order there. But anyway, anyone who's followed this band's recording patterns, you kind of already know that after every studio release, their fans are treated to like a remix album that's like filled with reinterpreted versions of the songs from the last offering, and a compilation album made up of like eclectic artists who put their own spin on things. So these releases in and of themselves, they've garnered the same kind of like, real adulation and hype that the studio albums typically receive, and for a good reason. This is more than like a supplementary bonus package for fans. This is sheds a light on a lot of up and coming artists as well, and they bring a thoroughly altered and engaging perspective on this band's original versions. So that's what makes them so appealing and fun. But anyway, it's back, and it's here, and how great is that? So recommend those two. Now let's get into it, you guys. We have a good, reasonable sized stack of stuff today. And let's start out with Bad Brains Punk Note Edition. This is on the Org Music label. It's bringing the Bad Brains Records new home of all the recordings owned by the band. This is the self-titled debut studio album, and they're an American hardcore punk reggae band, Bad Brains. This was recorded in 1981 and released, then it was like a cassette-only label that was called Roar, R-O-I-R, and in 82, a lot of fans kind of refer to it as the yellow tape because of the yellow packaging that it had come in. So they had recorded 16-song Black Dots album in 79 and the 5-song Omega Sessions EP in 1980. The Roar cassette was the band's first release of anything longer than a single. in coordination with the band, Org Music has overseen the restoration and remastering of the iconic Bad Brains recordings. And this Punk Note edition comes with this alternate packaging you see here. Then the artwork is like a kind of a nod towards the designer John Yates, who, the packaging here, the alternative packaging artwork was done by the designer John Yates, and it is a nod to Reed Miles and Francis Wolff and their amazing work that they did at the Blue Note label. So if you're familiar with Blue Note albums, they are very much exactly like this, but here you can see it says Punk Note right there. So yeah, that's like just a real nice thing. And those Blue Note albums, they had a very kind of typical black and white photographs, but with a color cast on them a lot of times too. So yeah, I really like what they did with the packaging there. I think that's just terrific. So that is the Bad Brains. Now this one is Banks, and it's called Serpentina. And the label is called Her Name is Banks. Okay, so she's platinum certified. She releases her highly anticipated fourth album here, Serpentina. So she enters this previously uncharted territory on this one, in every sense, from the sound to the lyrics to the visuals and everything in between. And in the past, she says that she's been really tight and controlled, and she doesn't feel like that anymore right now. She feels more wild and free. So featuring already released singles The Devil and Skinny Dipped, the 13 tracks Serpentina started taking form in the early days of quarantine. Big surprise. When she decided to use the time under lockdown to master the production software, Ableton, I guess it's called. So despite being heavily involved with the production across all of her previous 3 records, it was her first time to be fully in control. So she says it felt like it was opening up a whole new world, and it feels like a journey listening to it from the beginning to the end. So if you want to try that, it's coming to you on white vinyl. Okay, so next up we have, this is James Bay, and it's called Leap, and this is on Mercury Records, Republic Records. 3-time Grammy Award nominated and Brit Award winning multi-platinum singer-songwriter, producer and guitarist James Bay. This is his 3rd full-length album on Mercury Republic. So for this record, he worked with some of the most sought-after producers and songwriters, including Foy Vance, Dave Cobb, Ian Fitchuk, Joel Little, and Phineas. And to announce the album and his next chapter, he shared a powerful letter on social media where he talked about his mental journey making the album, and sharing a lot. And there it is. It's here now. So there you go. All right, then we have, now it's supposed to be, here we go. Matt Berninger of The National. This is a reissue of his Serpentine Prison, and this is the deluxe version of that. And it's on the Concord Records label. And it's the first solo album from Matt Berninger of The National, produced by the legendary Booker T. Jones. And it's a collection of deeply personal songs that are they're kind of given the treatment of Booker's signature Memphis sound, and perfectly blended with Matt Berninger's like unmistakable baritone vocal. It's recorded over 14 days in Venice, California. The album features 12 originals and 7 covers. This is a deluxe 2 LP set on transparent chartreuse vinyl, and it includes 6 bonus tracks. And the feel of it is like it feels like snakeskin. It's like a raised embossed sort of sleeve. And I think what's going on here is the embossed part is like a clear plastic that this album slides in. And on the original, this is an alternate cover. It's like him at the same time, but I think he was in a chair sort of leaning forward on the original. So, but I don't think that the embossing is sort of on the cover. I think it slides out to be just the picture of him sitting on the couch. Anyway, if that's important to you. There you go. All right, this is Andrew Bird. It's called Shoulder Mountain 7-inch here on Loma Vista. it features his virtuoso violin playing with folky guitar and his signature whistling to create a new sound. And he's never afraid to experiment with new ways to make music. And Shoulder Mountain was the bonus track on the deluxe edition of his Grammy-nominated album, Are You Serious? But anyway, this is a limited edition on red vinyl, 7-inch single. Okay. And next up is also a single. It's a 12-inch, and this is Brown Sugar. It's called Black Pride, and this is on Soul Jazz Records. And it's the seminal lovers rock album from Brown Sugar that's pressed loud for the very first time ever on this new one-off limited edition 12-inch on this Soul Jazz record. So there's just 1,000 copies worldwide. Now, Brown Sugar formed in London in 1976, and it was made up when they were teenagers of Pauline Caitlin, Karen Wheeler, and Carol Sims. And after Brown Sugar, you know Karen Wheeler, she became a worldwide known artist as the vocalist in Soul to Soul, and Carol Sims launched a successful solo career under the name Kofi. Black Pride was originally released on the Lovers Rock label. It was a fledgling reggae label. Brown Sugar, they were unique. Not only were they one of the most important of the first wave of lovers rock groups, but they were the only group who managed to successfully blend together reggae roots consciousness with a lovers rock sensibility. So the classic Black Pride perfectly reflects this unique sound. And you know, these girls were all like Londoners, and that lovers rock is just like so it's huge there. It was like that's kind of where they embrace that so much, still now too, and it's never been quite as popular over in the States. I mean, I guess you could say Sade, we probably consider that to be lovers rock, and she's huge, but anyway, this stuff has got the more of the reggae vibe going with it too, and it's wonderful. Just love Karen Wheeler's voice too. She's incredible. All right, next up, this reissue should go pretty big. This is Cake, Fashion Nugget, and this also, remember, has the parental advisory. There are explicit lyrics on this. It's on Legacy Recordings. It's their second studio album. Cake is an alternative rock band that was, very beloved. It was released in 1996, and it contains 14 songs. They're, the open-minded alternative rock consumers kind of proved to be the perfect demographic for embracing this unconventional group. They're kind of like prone to slapping trumpet solos over sparse lo-fi arrangements underpinned with a funky rhythm section and very ominous electric guitar tones. The final catalyst to their infectious formula was their singer John McCrae's kind of lazy, deadpan lyrics and delivery of the way that, he sang. And it delivered his lyrics about subjects as, odd and as like Frank Sinatra, chicken nuggets, Italian leather sofas, kind of with this calm, bemused, and even kind of detached and often profanity laced, hence the warning, sarcasm. And there were the hits that was namely a cover of Gloria Gaynor's disco era classic I Will Survive. They did that. And The Distance, which was written by their guitarist Greg Brown, which quickly elevated them from this anonymous cult status to mainstream by the end of that year. This is on 180-gram black vinyl, and the Cake stuff is very hard to come by, so I imagine that is going to really go. Okay, next up, this is the, hope I say this right, the Deslandes. It's called Ways and Means, and it's on New West Records. They're a 5-piece band from New Orleans. The band splits up songwriting and lead vocal duties among its 5 members, continuing its democratic ethos and musical versatility. Multiple members have released solo recordings between their sophomore release, Hurry Home, in 2016, and their latest release here, Ways and Means. But throughout the time between albums, the Deslandes continue to build their inventive take on New Orleans country and R&B. Ways and Means finds them leaning on the country folk of their debut, along with the sometimes psychedelic, electrified gospel soul sound of Hurry Home. The sound will continue to draw comparisons to the country funkiness of the band and Link Wray and others, but Ways and Means is the sound of a band that understands the history of American music. And while embracing their own contemporary approach, this is an indie exclusive here, and they're calling this Sun King colored vinyl, but it's kind of basically orange. And also, in addition to being that indie exclusive, this one is signed by the band. So that's for you here for you now too. Okay, now this one is the deluxe treatment of Dio, Holy Diver, the Joel Barresi remix edition. This is through Rhino/Warner Records. Joe Barresi's new mix of Holy Diver is released here as a 2 LP set on 180-gram vinyl. It includes the original 9 tracks plus the 1983 B-side version of Evil Eyes as a bonus track. And so side 4 is decorated with an etching of the legendary demon Murray that graces the album's iconic cover. The vinyl is kept in a gatefold sleeve, and it shows off newly commissioned artwork by longtime Dio artist Mark Sasso. This one is not on, I believe it's just on black vinyl. Yeah, it's just 180-gram black vinyl, but yeah, super deluxe now, okay? And next up, this is Baxter Dury. It's called Mr. Maserati 2001 through 2021. It's on the Heavenly label. Following Baxter Dury's autobiography release, Chaise Lounge, Heavenly Recordings releases Mr. Maserati 2001 to 2021, a best of compilation. 2 decades and 6 albums of Baxter Dury's indecent, mocking, cynical music, for, featuring kind of late night London snapshots of shuffling bass lines, come down disco tunes, seedy bleakness, and sweet love for humanity are all collected here. This set also includes a new song, DOA, which was co-written with his son Cosmo, and which gives us gorgeous glimpse into what Baxter might get up to in the next decade or two. He says, I don't really think I warrant a best of album, but he quietly built a back catalog of absolute beauties, and here's a selection for you. Okay, this is Billy F. Gibbons, Hardware. This is the vinyl. I think we've already had like the CD of this out for a while, but the vinyl is here now. And this is on Concord Records. Now, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer and ZZ Top frontman Billy F. Gibbons wants to take you on a desert trip. This is his 3rd solo release. He compiled a group of A-listers, including Matt Sorum on drums, who was in Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver, and Austin Hanks on guitar, who's a singer, songwriter, and left-handed guitar player from the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains of Alabama. And anyway, they all went to Pioneer Town in the California desert to record the album. Hardware features the guitar prowess and vocals that have made Billy a legend, but also has him like stretching his musical landscape past the place where the road ends. Limited opaque canary yellow vinyl or translucent orange vinyl. And look at that, no sticker to tell us this. So what you have to do is bring a magnifying glass and look at the barcode, and like right across the top here, it will tell you whether it's the yellow canary or the translucent orange. Would have killed him to put a sticker on it and let us know, right? Okay, next up, this is cool. This is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 Sugar Hill Adventures Collection. This is on Robin Song's label. It's a 2 LP set drawing together all their top 100 hits, featuring full-length versions of the top 10 hits, The Message, White Lines, and Step Off, plus a rare UK master mix of White Lines, and full-length versions of other hits such as Scorpio, Message 2, Survival, and Jessie. A new anthology showcasing the recording career of hip-hop pioneers Grandmaster Flash and the Melly Mel and the Furious 5 in a gatefold sleeve. That's cool. All right, now this is Mickey Guyton, Remember Her Name, and this is on Capitol Nashville. It's the debut album of Mickey Guyton. Mickey co-wrote 15 of the 16 songs on the album, and it follows her critically acclaimed Bridges EP, which included Black Like Me, for which she's received a historic Grammy nomination. Her performance on the Grammys was the first by a black female country artist and was touted by NPR as the night's most affecting live performance. This is available on red vinyl. And yeah, if you think about it, gosh, country music doesn't really have many black performers. I mean, Charlie Pride was always like, a very successful country music artist. But ladies, I don't think I can recall any black female performers that were big country artists. So yeah, it is kind of a great thing, and I hope she does well. That's really cool. All right, next up, this is the Indigo Girls, and this is a 7-inch called Long Ride. This is on the Rounder label. It was written and recorded for NPR's Mornings Edition song project, and it is Amy and Emily's first co-written song in nearly 20 years. It's limited edition translucent green, and it features the title track from their latest full-length album, Look Long. Oh, and guess what? That's what we have here. Indigo Girls, Look Long. And this is also obviously on Rounder. Amy Ray and Emily Sailors are Indigo Girls. And together they write, arrange, and record and perform music, which over the course of 40 years, believe it or not, has been a vital part of the lives of their legion of devoted fans around the world. So their first new studio album in 5 years, Look Long, it's a testament to their storied career, produced by John Reynolds at Peter Gabriel's Real World Studios in England. It features 11 brand new tracks, all written by Ray and Sailors. It's a limited edition 2 LPs on violet colored vinyl. All right. Okay, this is Elton John, Peachtree Road. This is on the Mercury label. This is, believe it or not, Elton John's 27th studio album. It was originally released in 2004 and is the only album of his extensive and much-loved catalog to be produced solely by him. Taking his love for R&B, country, and Americana, it's a rootsy album. It continued the back-to-basis attitude of his preceding album that was called Songs from the West Coast. It also marked the return of his legendary drummer Nigel Olsson and reunited him with guitarist Davy Johnstone. It's 2 LPs and it's 180-gram black vinyl. Okay, also reissued is Elton John Regimental Sergeant Zippo on Mercury. Now, this is the legendary album that never was. For Elton John, he was signed to DJM as an artist in early 1968. He cut 12 tracks at DJM Studios in London's New Oxford Street for a debut album that was never released. And as part of the excavation of material for Elton's Jewel Box collection that came out earlier, the original running order was located, and after the success of its limited release in mono for Record Store Day in 2021, the stereo mix here is now available on LP with a printed inner sleeve with lyrics. All right, and keeping in that theme, also reissued Elton John The One on Mercury. And this is Elton John's first studio album of the 90s, featuring guest appearances from Kiki Dee, Eric Clapton, and David Gilmour. The album peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 200 albums chart. It includes 4 top 10 adult contemporary hits, The One, Runaway Train, The Last Song, and Simple Life. This one is also 2 LPs on 180-gram black vinyl. Okay, now these are all, there's 4 of these, right? Okay, these are repressings, I'm thinking, of Dro Kenji. And this is on the 10,000 Projects label, okay? This one is Eat Your Heart Out. And this was Dro Kenji's debut album on Internet Money, and 10K projects. Deals with growing pains, leaving home, and living fast. While songs like the pop punk inflected For Life find him lamenting young love lost, hedonistic anthems like Goodbyes serve as a soundtrack for late nights that make it easier to forget. This album shows Dro Kenji is an artist unafraid to bare his soul to a young generation going through the same experiences. Now, they're calling this opaque pink vinyl, but it is really more of a lavender kind of orchidy pinkish kind of color. It's not straight up pink. If that's important to you, just letting you know, okay? Then also in the repress here is this one is called Fuck Your Feelings, and it was originally released in 2021. Vinyl for the first time now, and including Superstar. This project was written at a time when Dro began shifting into becoming more self-confident and feeling more in control of his own reality. So he wants to share those feelings and experience with his fans, and does so with a very spellbinding voice. And they're also calling this one opaque pink vinyl, but I'm telling you guys, it's opaque lavender orchid kind of color. All right, let the plane go over. Okay, this one is called Race Me to Hell. He's a true child of the digital age, and he was raised on video games and lo-fi sounds of rap's online underground. He has a remarkable ability to capture both the apathy and the aspiration of his generation in his songs, and a voice with which to tell these stories. Originally released in 2020, Race Me to Hell is released on vinyl for the first time as well, on that same opaque pink vinyl. And lastly, this one is called Tears and Pistols, originally released in 2020, first time on vinyl, opaque pink vinyl. Okay. Now, speaking of confusing vinyl colors or whatever, let's first talk about what it is. It's Alice Merton. It's called Sides. And her sophomore album here. She's a German, of German descent anyway. Even if the name Alice Merton doesn't immediately strike you as one to remember, I can pretty much guarantee you've heard at least one of the songs from this artist. Her debut album, Mint, had similar rock and pop influences, while Sides kind of brings in the next evolution as a singer, where it's sonically darker, and she's drawing influence from alt rock and emo and pop. So she says the last 2 years have been challenging for everyone in some way or another. Friends and family were lost, boundaries were enforced for the first time since I've been alive, and mental strength has been tested to its limit. Sides tells my story of how I experienced these past years. It's a summary of the ups and many downs, the psychological challenges I faced, and somehow realizing that there will always be another side. The question is just how and when do you get there? Okay, so, it's more of that stuff that, we kind of discussed last week. Everybody's kind of got their take on their experiences in lockdown, quarantine, and all these albums they keep parading out. So this one is available on peach or on teal vinyl. There is no documentation at all on these records to tell you what is what. The barcodes are different though, and if this is going to mean something for you, the one with the barcode that ends in 0215 is the peach colored one, and the one that ends in 2208 is the teal colored one. Here, if you're in the shop, you can just have them take the little reader and scan the barcode, and it'll tell you which color it is. But again, I just really have a hard time with it when they just won't tell you. They spend all this money on artwork and packaging, but they can't slap a simple sticker on there. What the hell? Okay, this is called No So, Stay Proud of Me. This is on Partisan Records. Now, Stay Proud of Me is the debut album from an LA-based Korean-American artist called No So. Now, her real name is Abby Huang, and the stage name is shorthand for North South. It's a nod to Korean heritage. There's always the question of which Korea are you from? And so, I guess that's a kind of a inane question to ask a Korean person, but they get it all the time. So many Korean Americans inevitably face that at some point in their lives. So across 10 tracks, No So indirectly grapples with the insecurities and frustrations that can arise from Asian American experiences, and with the end result feeling like a kind of a balm for the alienated. Okay, Stay Proud of Me. It offers a very deeply earnest coming of age story, a nuanced introduction into her universe, and rapidly expanding musical abilities that she's developing. So it's like the marriage of lyrics and this captivating guitar performance feels real, real magical, new realms of opening up emotional honesty that either breaks you down in one moment or fills you with joy the next. And it is coming to you on opaque blue vinyl. And there is a blue sticker, and in tiny little letters all the way around here, it just keeps saying on blue vinyl. So that's your indicator, okay? Next up, we have the Overcoats, The Fight. And this is on Loma Vista. Their second full-length album. It's a 10-song battle cry. Hannah Elion and J.J. Mitchell, it's a vision about not picking up arms, but rather picking up yourself. And the New York native's debut for Loma Vista is a spectrum of sonic outbursts to empower and uplift. And with The Fight here, they kind of buck trends and overturn expectations and crank out a unique brand of real sticky sweet pop subversion tightened up to Swedish standards under a Seattle grunge haze. How's that for a write-up? This is on limited ruby red vinyl, and that does not say it anywhere. It just is on ruby red vinyl. So yeah, it's a big week for like no information about color, right? All right, next up we have the Owls. It's called Owls, and this is on the Jade Tree label. This guy, Tim Kinsella, he has spent the second half of the 90s trying to shake his past by writing far-fetched concept records with dreamy posts. His old band was Captain Jazz, and he had a band called Joan of Arc, and he's just had several bands. The guy's written a couple of books. He's made a movie. I mean, he's just one of those like multi-artistic people that just likes to express himself in a lot of different ways. Anyway, the band's particular brand of alt-rock never quite rocked the way certain fans had hoped it would. That was like Joan of Arc. And so anyway, he called in kind of his brother, his childhood friends, for a band that would essentially pick up where the Captain Jazz left off. The underground circles, everybody was like a real buzz with the idea of more accessible sound being brought forth, but it didn't really happen. Instead, he presented his Owls. It's a unique four-piece collective they blend free jazz improvisation with loose and poetic post-punk. It sounds like a boy-era U2. They said, that's the description they give it. It's like post-punk sounds like a boy era U2 taking hits of homemade acid. So you make of that what you want. Though it wasn't quite the scream and strum return to form many expected, with the Owls, Kinsella and his former mates have managed to reach out to a new generation of fans who can still respect him, even when he is singing about having sex with Jesus. So this comes to you on translucent blood orange vinyl, and there does say that on the sticker below the barcode here. All right, so now this is the Pearl Jam Gigation Tour Edition, and this is an indie exclusive that you can get in indie record stores like ours. It's 2 LPs and a CD. It's coming to you through Republic Records. They are delivering the tour edition of their 11th studio album, 2020's critically acclaimed #1 rock album and Billboard 200 Top 10 album Gigation, featuring 11 live songs, including Dance of the Clairvoyants, Super Blood Wolf Moon, Retrograde, and more. So the tour edition includes the original vinyl LP with an 11-track live CD, this thing here, that was recorded during various 2021 performances. And now, they're still touring this like in Europe and I think Canada, but anyway, this is the tour edition. I don't know, you guys, it's sort of becoming a thing now, and I don't know, another way for the industry to just make us keep buying our collection over and over and over again. This is Katie J. Pearson's Sound of the Morning. This is also on the Heavenly Records label, written and recorded in late 2021 after a self-prescribed period of downtime. She spent it walking, going on daily cold swims, and just massively relaxing. So even the credits on Sound of the Morning, she professes a new thirst for experimentation. And it all makes for a record that's increasingly unafraid to explore life's darker parts, but that does so with an openness that's full of light. As an artist who professes to always strive for the bittersweetness of things, Sound of the Morning does just that, taking the listener's hand and guiding them through the good and the bad, and the musical equivalent of an arm around your shoulder. And she said, I want people to feel things with my music, but I don't want to cause my listener too much trauma. So counseling is expensive, so you've got to pick your battles. Anyway, it's kind of funny. Now it does have this weird little sticker right here that doesn't, well, does it say something on there? It's, it says it's on clear vinyl. Well, you have to have your magnifying glass or glasses on to see that because it's super tiny writing. But yeah, okay, this one's on clear. Next up, we have the record company, All of This Life, and this is also on the Concord Records label. They continue their signature gritty rock and roll blues sound on All of This Life, their second album following 2016's Grammy-nominated hit-filled debut. The album incorporates their original organic style, but it provides a richer and expanded sound. It's comprised of stories about moving through difficult times in life and coming through on the other side, as shared by their fan base over the last 2 years of nonstop touring. This comes to you on white vinyl, and it has a download card with it. Okay, next up, this is Refused, Songs to Fan the Flames of Discontent on the Epitaph label. This is a reissue. It's the second full-length album by the Swedish hardcore punk band Refused. It was originally released in 1996, making this the 25th anniversary edition. Taking into account the whole record, Refused at the time hadn't really evolved into their sound to what it could be in the future. This album was a huge building block for what was to come with their careers, and they made a great album that would soon evolve to much bigger ideas and musical passages. Songs to Fan the Flames of Discontent is essential to understand their work as a whole, because one record leads to another. And without this one, who knows what would have, become of them. Anyway, this one is on baby blue vinyl for that 25th anniversary, okay? Now this one is another one of these. It's Run the Jewels, and it's the tour edition on RBC Records. The dynamic duo of rap here, continuing their journey into the hearts and minds of music lovers everywhere with their latest and greatest album to date, 2020's RTJ4. And in celebration of their 2022-23 right now tour with Rage Against the Machine, they've decided to release this new vinyl for their fans. It's a brilliant mix of clear vinyl with black, blue, and pink splatter, okay? It's 2 LPs. It's their 4th studio album. It features guest appearances from Greg Nice, DJ Premier, 2 Chainz, Pharrell Williams, Mavis Staples, and Josh Homme, and frequent collaborator Zach De La Rocha of Rage Against the Machine. So RTJ4 debuted at number 10 in the US Billboard 200 and their first top 10 album on the chart. So anyway, this one is another one of these tour editions. And okay, so that is now going to be a thing. I guess we're going to be seeing that more and more. This is Sasha Alex Sloan, I Blame the World, and this is another one with the parental advisory because of the explicit lyrics on this one. It's on the RCA Records label, the second studio album by this American singer-songwriter, Sasha Alex Sloan. It's nothing but a diary of an artist in which she confesses and elaborates on her insecurities between love songs and nihilistic visions. Cohesive, solid, and delicate production accompany the listener on a little journey inside the singer's head with, pretty wonderful vocals. So... next up, this one is the Skeggs Rehearsal. This is an alternate cover on Loma Vista. Skeggs have cemented themselves as one of the most intoxicating acts to come out of Australia in years, according to Rolling Stone. They're an Australian three-piece power trio originally from Byron Bay, and they combine surf, garage, and slacker elements to create their dynamic sound. Rehearsal is this cohesive album that is less headbanging than what we've come to expect from Skeggs, but it stays true to the core and what makes them the loved band that they are. It's youthful and laid back and lighthearted, while still effectively capturing the essence of the unknown future and growing up. And it's on black vinyl. It's housed in a limited edition jacket with this alternate purple cover. This is Alfie Templeman, and it's called Mellow Moon. It's on the Chess Club label. It's a little bit guitar-y, occasionally piano-led, but mostly electronic. And among its influences, it's like the brightest, most 80s-inspired singles by the 1975, Jungle's whitewashed pop R&B, Tame Impala's hazy electronic psych, and Bastile's left of center pop all are inspirations here. And inspired by modern influences like Steve Lacy, Khruangbin, and Leon Bridges as well. And as Alfie's constant cosmic guide, Todd Rundgren, this guy is real influenced by him as well. So this Mellow Moon, it flows with an ease that belies its very difficult, apparently, creation. He says, it's a moment in my life that I want to remember forever. I've put so much effort into this, and it's a real experience to listen to. So acting as both an intimate diary and a communal call to arms, Mellow Moon is Alfie's most complete work to date. Well, that's kind of a broad statement considering it is a debut album, so okay. And it's a platform from which he will surely use to propel himself further into the stratosphere. Boy, you can tell that there is an agent with a spin on that, huh? It comes on white vinyl with violet splatter. All right, this is the Vandals' Slippery When Ill. This is on the Kung Fu Records label. It's the second album from the Clown Princes of Punk Rock, Southern California's The Vandals. Originally released in 1988, and this album was later reissued as The Vandals Play Really Bad Original Country Tunes in 1999. But for this reissue, they've restored the original artwork as well as the full track list, plus 2 bonus tracks, limited edition red marble vinyl. I'm kind of glad that they just went back to Slippery When Ill, because that other Vandals Play Really Bad Original Country Tunes from 1999. That's just stupid. So this is kind of restored. This is what you want. And anyway, there is a look at what the red with a bit of black marble vinyl will kind of look like. All right, this is through Geffen, The Who Sell Out. No, sorry, Tommy, had Half Speed. This is on the Geffen label. It's regarded as one of the most important albums of all time. It's a rock opera about a deaf, dumb, and blind boy, released in 1969 and reaching number 2 in the UK and number 7 in the US. It contains the songs Pinball Wizard, The Acid Queen, and I'm Free. And the mastered by engineer John Astley from the original tapes and packaged in the original sleeve with the OB and a certificate of authenticity. This black LP is engineered by Miles Showell at Abbey Road Studios using the half-speed mastering technique, producing superior vinyl cut. This is 2 LPs, and it's nice and deluxe, and that's very cool. And also, in addition to that, there is the same thing, the half-speed treatment to The Who Sell Out. And also coming through the Geffen label. This one was released in 1967 and remembered for the use of these fake advertisements and jingles between the songs. It contains the songs I Can See for Miles, Armenia's City in the Sky, and Tattoo, mastered by engineer John Astley from the original tapes, packaged in the original sleeve with the obi and a certificate of authenticity, again on black vinyl, engineered by Miles Showell at Abbey Road Studios using the half-speed mastering technique, producing a superior vinyl cut. So, okay, now this is Neil Young with Crazy Horse. It's called Toast, and this is 2 LPs, and it's on Reprise. Previously unreleased 7-track album for Neil Young and Crazy Horse was recorded in late 2000 to early 2001 at Toast Studio in San Francisco, but it was shelved at the time as Neil Young felt it was too sad. And so there's nothing disappointing about the way he conjures art form from emotional defeat. There are rowdy barn raisers, but also melodic, meditative grooves and strange, insidious songs. This album is almost fragile beauty, intense loneliness, raging storms, but not for the last time. Crazy Horse took Neil Young somewhere where he wasn't expecting to go. 21 years since this album was made. He has reminded us once again why he stands tall among the greats of the rock era. Now, the sticker on the front, it says there are 6 unreleased tracks, 3 unreleased songs. And I thought, well, what in the hell does that mean? But I guess 6 unreleased tracks, and maybe each of the songs is like recorded differently. You see what I mean? So 6 tracks, but 3 songs, so 2 different ways each time. That's what my guess is, okay? I like this album cover. I think that is like a pretty cool looking one. Anyway, 2 LPs on black vinyl. Okay, so I hope there's something in there that you find interesting and that maybe you want to try out. We're open this weekend from 10 till 4. We're open from 10 to 4 every single day. So if you're in the Monterey, California area, please do stop in and see us. And we also, we're selling online, so you can find us on a number of platforms that way too. Okay, so everybody have a great weekend and stay out of trouble. Enjoy your summer, and I will see you next time. The list is down below, and